Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here from the Raiders Report. And coming up on today's show, ranking the top 50 free agents that the Las Vegas Raiders should target on the defensive side of the football this offseason. Again, this list is only for the Raiders, and it's based on what the Raiders need. I don't care what other people rank. I don't care what ESPN, PFF, what other people rank. I do not care. This list is strictly for the silver and black, in the silver and black only. So number one, my rankings are based on the fit in Patrick Graham's defense, how I think they're going to be able to fit on all types of levels, depth, all that kind of good stuff. The overall need for the Raiders. There are certain positions that I think are bigger needs right now for this defense. And then the projected cost for a player. If I think a guy's going to be more of a discount than somebody else, well, then I bumped him up my rankings here a little bit. If you want to know a little bit more background for the Raiders offseason, their current cap space, at the time that I'm making the video right now, $43.37 million. It's the 11th most in the National Football League. They have 56 players signed for 2024, which is the 12th most as it stands right now, and their first-round draft slot is at pick number 13. The Raiders will also be able to move on from certain dudes, so you're going to add more to the mix here. Bottom line is the Raiders have the money to sign any player that's on this list. Here's my question, though, and whoever's number one is the top defensive free agent that I believe that the Raiders should sign. But this is about y'all. When I do this show, I do it because I legitimately want to know what you guys have to say. So here's your opportunity. Go down in the comments. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this on a later date, let me know who's the top defensive free agent that the Las Vegas Raiders should sign during free agency. All right, we're going to go from 50 and work our way down. And again, some of these positions, I'm going to mainly poke out like one player that's in a list here. The one player that y'all are probably looking at is Devin White. I think White is probably the worst coverage linebacker in the National Football League, and he's going to be a lot of money. So realistically, I've seen some Raider fans say, hey, Mitch, should we get Devin White? If I'm the Raiders, Devin White is a player that I avoid. However, he is a top 50 defensive player, at least for a free agent prospect. Let's go from 45 to 41. If I'm looking at this list here, honestly, the position that intrigues me the most is a guy like Danico Autry, which I know. Bobby Wagner is another intriguing prospect here at linebacker. And if I'm Wagner, I actually think he probably ends up going to the Commanders, maybe reuniting a little bit with Dan Quinn could be a potential interesting option. But you're seeing right now, linebacker, safety, edge, these aren't really big-time positions of need for the silver and black going into this offseason. If you're looking for free agency videos every single day, guess what? In March, you're going to be getting tons of free agency content. You're going to be getting tons of draft content. Bottom line, when the Raiders sign somebody, we go live during free agency. If it's a big name, we stay live longer. We get crazy. We get wild. I love free agency because you're adding new faces, and you also get to see a lot more new people here on the Raiders Report. Subscribe, turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss a thing. Let's go from 40 to 36. The one player that I'm really going to point out here is actually Adoree Jackson, because Jackson struggled last season with the New York Giants, but back in 2021, I get it, he was 2 years younger. He had the best season that he's ever had of his career. Guess who was his defensive coordinator? Patrick Graham. I could see the Raiders, if they want to go a little bit cheaper at the corner position, Jackson's probably going to be somewhere around $9-8 million this year. Lavonte David is a bigger name linebacker, but I do think that the Raiders should try to avoid him. The name from this list right here that I would target would be Adoree Jackson. Let's go now 35 down to 31. Here's one of the only Raiders players on this list, Adam Butler, and I have him ranked significantly higher than you're going to see PFF, ESPN, all these other places. Why? I know that Adam Butler is a good fit in the Patrick Graham defense, and defensive tackle, in my opinion, is the Raiders' biggest need right now that they need to be able to go out and address. Yeah, Calais Campbell's 38 years old, but he's still playing at a pretty damn good level. And would you look at this? Drue Tranquill. Drue Tranquill was like my sweetheart last year. I would have loved for the Raiders to be able to bring him in. Doesn't surprise me that he's dominating right now in Kansas City. I'm going to get into my top 30 free agent targets for the silver and black here in just a second. But, man, if you don't already know, if you're like most Raider fans out there and you are regretting, I don't know if regretting is the right word, you don't know if you want to watch the big game or not between the Niners and the Chiefs, I hear you. How about this? What if I tell you could watch that game and have a good time? Does that interest you? I think it should. And that's why I want you to get started with our sponsor today, Prize Picks, by going to prizepicks.com/CLNS and make sure that you use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. All you got to do is pick 2+ players, choose more or less, and I want you to see why It is the #1 daily fantasy sports app out there, and I believe because of this game coming up here between two teams that we hate, it's the perfect opportunity to. I don't want the Chiefs to win. I don't want the Niners to win. Unfortunately, one of those teams is going to win. I'm also hoping that I can win, and the way that I can win is by putting some more money in my pocket. This is $20 to win $200. If you're like, all right, I think Kyle Juszczyk's going to catch a football. All right, I think Isaiah Pacheco's going to score a touchdown. All right, yeah, I think Brock Purdy's going to have more than 11.5 rushing yards. And if you think Patrick Mahomes is going to have at least one passing yard, take this. 20, you can win 200. If you want to go with something else, guess what? There's tons of player props. It's the reason why PrizePicks is as much fun as what it is. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, an enormous selection of players is why PrizePicks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app out there. So one more time here, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and make sure that you use code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100. That link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and down in the description of today's show. Let's go from 30 to 26, and honestly, there's a lot of really good names here on this list. Andrew Van Ginkel is banged up, but I know that he could be a solid edge and just a very versatile player on our defense. Also has some connections there with Rob Leonard. Jadeveon Clowney's the big name. I don't really think that he ends up coming back, though he's had a really solid year with the Baltimore Ravens. Grover Stewart at defensive tackle, out of all these names, obviously he's ranked the highest, would be the player that I personally would pursue. Let's now go to 25 to 21 here, and there's some more edge rushers. Steven Nelson's a good corner, and I don't think that the Raiders personally would bring him in because of his age, and I think they would try to go with a younger corner based off of what happened this past season with Marcus Peters. Xavier McKinney would be an intriguing name, I'm not going to lie in that regard. But out of all these, best bang for your buck might honestly be Josh Uche, the edge rusher from New England. So we're getting close, man, to our top 20. But what's the biggest need on defense? Is it defensive end? Is it defensive tackle? Is it linebacker, corner, safety? Here's your opportunity. You be the judge. To me, the biggest need for the silver and black on D is defensive tackle for multiple reasons, and I've listed them out on other shows. I want the Raiders to add a DT to take pressure off Tyree Wilson, and then that allows the Patrick Graham defense to be at its absolute best. Second for me would legitimately be cornerback. Let's go to number 20 to 16 here on the list, and the name that's really intriguing on here, I think to most people, is probably Patrick Queen at linebacker. Stephon Gilmore's getting up there in age, but as I said before, I think the Raiders are going to go a little bit more younger of a cornerback room. Chidobe Awuzie scares the hell out of me. I'm not going to lie to y'all, but what's up? Luvu's a great name, and that's why I'm kind of excited, and it's why I wanted to bring up Patrick Queen, because some of y'all are going to be like, Frankie Luvu above Patrick Queen? For what the Raiders need and for fit in Patrick Graham's system? Yes, Luvu is a better linebacker than Patrick Queen. I'll say it here, I'll say it again, and you're going to get him at a much significantly cheaper price. I don't believe in paying linebackers $20 million a year, and to me, that's what Patrick Queen is going to end up getting, which is why he is 19 on my list. 15 to 11 now, coming up here on the show, and out of all these, Kendall Fuller is a sneaky name to keep in mind because he does have ties to Chicago. He does have ties to Champ Kelly out there. Bryce Huff is another one. If you told me, Mitch, who's a really good edge rusher that you would sign that you don't think is going to be an absolute break-the-bank type of player, Bryce Huff would be my answer. Huff is a really athletic edge coming out of the New York Jets. Like Danielle Hunter to me probably gets $7 million more than somebody like Bryce Huff. Now, you might only get him on a 1-year deal. You could probably get him on a 2 to 3-year deal, but you know the name, Chase Young, right? That's a big-name guy. Former second overall pick, currently now with the San Francisco 49ers. The two names, though, on this list that I would say that I would target the most would be Kendall Fuller because of his connections to Champ Kelly, some versatility in there, and then also Bryce Huff. Coming up, though, my top 10 defensive free agent targets for the Las Vegas Raiders, and I feel like every year I always sit up here and I talk a lot about defense. I'm hoping this year with Antonio Pierce, with Patrick Graham. Last year they spent the second least amount of money. I'm hoping that they watch this video, and I'm telling you right now, if they bring in some of these guys in my top 10, I'm going to blow the roof off this joint here. Speaking of blowing the roof off the joint, Jugs and I are going to blow the roof off of Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel. And if you're wondering, hey, I want to watch the big game with y'all, it's going to be inside of Ahern Live Showroom. Here's the address. Save it right now in your phone. The party's going to get started at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Though, I was actually talking to Ahern the other day. They said they might even go open up the doors an hour early if the nation really wants to party. So reserve your seat right now by going to chatsports.com/biggame. That link's going to be available to y'all down in the comments and in the description. Plus, if you're watching this live, click on the link right now. It is free to attend. It is 100% free to attend. I just can't guarantee that you're going to have a place to sit. That's what I always recommend, and it's why I'm really happy that we ended up getting this deal. We're going to have a full food buffet. Happy hour pass is $99. The VIP pass is $149. Both get you all you can eat, all you can drink. All you can eat, all you can drink in Las Vegas for this price is unbelievable. If you want the all you can eat drink pass, you got to go to that link below and reserve your seat right now. If you're like, am I going to be able to see the game? Yes. There's going to be TVs everywhere. You can see there's TVs behind the bar. There's actually also an upper level on top of that. And then there's a big screen on the right-hand side. There's a big screen on the left-hand side. And I would recommend, if you want to actually come on the show, giggity, get the VIP pass. If you're like, Mitch, I don't need to hop on stage with you, I don't need to chug a beer, then just get the happy hour pass. All you can eat, all you can drink for $99. It's a steal. So VIP happy hour, both down here, chatsports.com/biggames. Is that what you said? Oh, the menu for the food is also at that link if you're curious. If you don't want to just buy it because you don't know what you're going to eat, right there. You can see all the food, all the deals right down there, chatsports.com/biggame. All right, let's get into my top 10 free agents now for the Silver and Black. Brian Burns at edge for Carolina. He's probably going to be ranked a lot higher on a lot of other people's rankings just for the simple fact of, hang on a second. Sorry, I just saw something pop up for the Raiders. Brian Burns at edge, it's a lot ranked a lot higher for a lot of other people, but because I don't really think that the Raiders need an edge rusher as it stands right now, that's why he's ranked number 10. Coming in here at number 9 is Josh Allen, another edge here from Jacksonville. I wish the Raiders would have taken him if it would have been up to me. That honestly, we'd probably have both Brian Burns and Josh Allen, but it is what it is. Hell of player. These would be massive upgrades over Malcolm Koonce. I think Malcolm Koonce is great. If you could figure out a way, though, to make Malcolm an outside linebacker, you pair these guys with Max Crosby, good luck. I have them at 9 and 10, though, because they're going to be maybe the most expensive players on this list outside of the guy that I have ranked at number 3. Coming in at number 8, it's Antoine Winfield, safety from Tampa Bay. Not necessarily saying that safety is a major need because I love Marcus Epps. I love Trevon Merrick. But at the end of the day, man, if I can find a player that I believe is a playmaker and I can put him in that secondary with some of our coaches that we have, Gerald Alexander, Ricky Manning, you combine that with Patrick Graham, Antoine Winfield, you put him, Nate Hobbs, Jack Jones, Trevon Merrick, and Marcus Epps. I have the confidence in AP and Patrick Graham to make that work. Let's now go to the cornerback spot here, L'Jarius Sneed. I know that Tom Telesco really values being able to find players that have AFC West experience, and I'm trying to find that competitive advantage. How can I get the Raiders over the hump over a team like Kansas City? Sometimes it's adding a spy. My spy, L'Jarius Sneed, who is unfortunately playing in the Super Bowl. But if he's a Raider next year, I'm all in. Coming in here at number 6 is DJ Reader. And Reader is probably a top 20 free agent for the entire all-encompassing free agent list. But based on the Raiders and where their need is, I would rather the Raiders sign DJ Reader than L'Jarius Sneed. That might be an unpopular opinion for some people out there. However, I'm so confident in what I believe the Raiders needing to add some more talent there to the trenches because you don't have a lot of your defensive tackles. It's just something to keep in mind. So before we get into our top 5, who is the top defensive free agent that the Las Vegas Raiders should sign? Please let me know down below what you guys are thinking. Who is the top defensive free agent the Silver and Black should sign? Coming up here at number 5, it's Leonard Williams, the defensive tackle from the New York Giants. And Giants, then actually it's Seattle. I was going to say he was with the Giants. Now he's with Seattle. Bottom line is he has those ties previously. That's what I was thinking. I was typing when I was thinking. He has ties to Patrick Graham. I saw it already. So Leonard Williams, you had him on the big guy up the middle. He played at USC. Who knows? Maybe bring in Cliff Kingsbury too, right? Jaylon Johnson, cornerback for the Chicago Bears. This guy's got a lot of ties to Champ Kelly. He's the number 1 corner in this year's class. He's going to get a lot of money, and I don't blame him. He was a hell of a playmaker last year, had 4 interceptions, 10 pass breakups. Probably should have had 6 or 7 or 8 interceptions, if I'm being honest. He dropped a few pretty damn easy ones. But overall, Jaylon Johnson at corner for number 4. And, here's me being real with y'all. If I'm the Raiders, I am putting a lot of money at the defensive tackle position. And the only reason why Chris Jones is coming in here at number 3 for me is because I view Jones as being the most expensive defensive tackle on the list. He's going to be $30 million plus. Would I love to be able to steal him away from the Chiefs? Abso-freaking-lutely. But when you also consider age and overall fit, plus the money invested, would you rather have Chris Jones at defensive tackle, or could I interest you in adding a player like, I don't know, Christian Wilkins at DT, and then you also were able to go out and add an offensive guard like a Robert Hunt, right? Like, I think that's a better pairing for the Raiders based on some of their needs at this current moment. Christian Wilkins, though, he's in here at number 2. He has had his best years back in Miami when he had Rob Leonard as his defensive line coach. And to me, Wilkins is such a good dude in the locker room, big body guy. Still younger than Chris Jones, but overall would be a hell of a fit here with the silver and black. And then coming in here at number 1, Justin Madubuike, the defensive tackle from Baltimore. He's only 26 years old. And to me, his best football is still ahead of him. I do believe that defensive tackles have a longer longevity, longer career than some other positions out there. I mean, look at what Fletcher Cox has been able to do, Calais Campbell. Look what Ndamukong Suh was able to do. To me, if you're the Raiders, if you're going to spend big on any position, I'm giving Justin Madubuike a massive deal, and I'm tying him to this defense for the long haul because he's going to be one of the best DTs in the NFL for the next 3, 4, 5 years. And I am locking that guy in. Dude's a Raider, got that relationship with Rob Ryan. Let's make it happen. So one more time here, we're going to quickly roll through all of these free agent rankings. And if you enjoyed today's video, take a screenshot. Don't be afraid to tag me on social media. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365 on Instagram. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365 on Twitter as well. And if you find yourself looking for a lot of free agent videos this entire offseason, I can promise you this. We're going to be pumping out more content than anybody else, whether it's on YouTube, Spotify, I don't care where. There's a reason why we are the number 1 most watched Raider show in the world. Because we have that commitment to excellence. We love interacting with the nation. And my bottom line is this. Let me prove to you why you should hit that sub button. Watch the show for a week. If you don't like it, unsubscribe. It costs you absolutely nothing. Appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in. And hopefully, the Silver and Black can end up signing one of those big-name coaches sometime, or end up signing one of those big-name free agents sometime soon.